when it comes down to the wire, we mean, you're 55, you're 56, you're 57, you're looking at less than 10 years of retirement. Now you've accumulated your cash, you're in the accumulation phase, and now it's time to start drawing income, or at least looking at what's there. Now we really got to get into the details of where are you now? What are your expenses? And we've done this retirement budget before where we've broken out the medical expenses. We've broken out inflation. We've talked about food and transportation. We've talked about all these other expenses in retirement. But when you get to that age and you've only got, let's just use the example. Let's say you're making 80,000 a year. Your Social Security is going to drop you down to 40,000 a year. That's a $40,000 a year hit. And you only got 250,000 put back in your 401k. If you were to match that and draw it out, you're only going to be able to live off of that for 6 to 7 years. Now if you retired at 65, now you're 71 and you're losing 40,000 or 50,000 a year in income because you're out of money. So when it comes to that point, now it's time to start thinking differently. And I think that's the number one thing that we've got to do is people have to start thinking differently as they age. They have to think about their money in a different manner. And they've got to think about their retirement. They've got to think about these pensions and Social Securities that they're going to have. To your point, there are people that still have pensions, but the majority do not. So when you retire, you've got your Social Security, you've got your 401k or IRA. Now, when it comes to that stage of retirement, now you've stored money away, you've put it back. At some point, you have to start thinking about safety and shielding that money from market loss. And that becomes the number one essential goal, especially as vulnerable as things are now with the market. I mean, we're at an all-time high with the S&P. I mean, everything is going up right now. I mean, Today's March 28th, 24, and you could have never told anybody that the market would be where we are a year and a half ago when the Feds started to raise interest rates in order to curb inflation. Everybody thought recession, right? Well, it's a scary place because we've never been here. So because we've never been here, you can't think the same. And the number one thing that we should be focused on with retirement and our money that we've accumulated is keeping it, right? There's no time to take another market loss because you can't make it up. You don't have time to make it up. And I think that's the number one place that people need to start thinking is safety and preservation. How do I keep what I have? But is there a possibility to keep what I have, not be at market risk, and then also continue to grow that income as I go into retirement? And then once you do retire, how are you going to be taking those funds out? To your point, most of these accounts are qualified deferred tax. So people think they've got 250,000 sitting there and they don't. The government owns a good portion of that 250 that you've deferred that tax on and put
That's
back.
right.
So you don't have that. So there are vehicles and products out here that are designed for the distribution phase. The 401k, IRA, those are accumulation products. The Roth, great accumulation product. But now when you hit into retirement age, let's talk to them